Hey everyone, and welcome to Game 1 of the Grand Finals. We're watching Bipolar Method lose out to SK Gaming. They're going to face off against SK Gaming versus Cognitive EU. They had a very strange lineup in the last time we watched them in the semifinals. They faced up against Wellix Esports. We saw Game Hunter play Hercules and dominate so very hard. Kronos and Hebo banned out right now, as well as Hercules. So Hercules not going to be making it into this game. So a very, very different matchup this time around. So Kronos, a big pick for both these teams, as well as Hercules. So they're definitely a very different picking stage this time around. We don't really see these kind of bans that often. But of course, I'm joined today by DM Brandon. How you doing this fine afternoon?
I'm just wondering who this final ban's going to be. I mean, they ban out 2 characters from Proxy. Now, they ban out a character from Game Hunter. It's not like they're banning things for team comps. They're banning specific people's strengths, and I love that. Final one's going to be Sobek here, taking that out of the hands of, Trix Tank. I don't know if I love that. I mean, leaving Athena on the board for a person who loves to rotate more than anything. Will this be a first pick Athena? I mean, there's a few other gods on the board. Of course, Agni's still available. Baka still available. Bacchus still available. I mean, there's a lot of different opportunities here. They're definitely talking it over. They know this was kind of thrown for a loop with the Sobek ban here. Maybe a character they wouldn't have picked immediately, but definitely something they loved. And once again, Jean-Qui makes it through the ban phase and winds up in the hands of will be Rasterian.
And then again, Athena, Bakasura, a very quick spot there with Hebo. They did the Hebo ban to stop out Proxy QQ's jungle with Hebo, but they're going to get him right into Bakasura. And we've seen how powerful Bakasura can be. A lot of bans for him, this whole weekend through with all the tournaments that have transpired. We also have the Kronos ban. Kronos has been a very big, influence overall, especially in his 2 jungle appearances thus far. We have Hercules banned out. No one wants to see Game Hunter on Hercules. And they also banned Sobek, so I think they really just want to shut down the Game Hunter Trix Tank Sobek Hercules lane that worked so well for them last week, although they did lose with it. This week they dominated. I mean, we saw a 8-1 Hercules there. Sobek Hercules way too strong for them to deal with, and they're going to go ahead and pick up Zeus and Tyr. We know Rasterian loves his mid with Zeus, so he'll be able to grab that this time around. Jean-Qui means that it probably will be going for the solo lane. We'll have Tyr. I guess he'll go in the jungle since they already have a pretty strong solo and mid combination. I know you don't I know you dislike the Tyr jungle, but definitely could work out quite well for them.
With the changes, it's actually much stronger now because the recent change to Blue Power Cleave allows him to sustain for much longer. Right, and with the pickup of Bumba's Mask, it's going to allow him to just sustain his mana through sustaining his health. So it's actually a pretty decent pickup. The only worry he has to do is making his ganks obvious. Tyr is a very hard character to jump from behind with because if he misses Red Fearless, it's pretty much all for naught because he puts himself in a very bad situation. But it definitely can work out. Over here, it looks like we have Agni and Ra picked up, so we could see an Athena jungle here. We can see an Agni jungle. We know that Baka, we've seen him before being put in the lane. I mean, there's so many different things that they can do. So it's definitely an ambiguous pickup, but there's not too. Oh wait.
Oh my God! They're doing Tyr Ymir.
They're gonna do Tyr Ymir.
They're gonna do Tyr Ymir. That is terrifying. That is terrifying. Oh so they're gonna replace the Sobek Hercules with a Tyr Ymir in the left lane. That is not that terrible of a pickup here for
not to mention they don't really have jumps. Who are they gonna? They're gonna have to pick up Neath here.
Apollo's what they're going to go for, so they definitely have that opportunity to jump in there. This is going to be terrifying, especially if Tyr and Ymir both go for blinks. They can blink behind and force them backwards. There's a lot of opportunity for initiation. Tyr can also initiate with his dash, but I think it would be best if Ymir just gets in there, especially with the increase to Ymir's damage on his Glacial Strike. He has a lot of kill potential. That slow lasts a very long time if he can land it, plus the wall. I mean, look at someone like Apollo. He can't jump over the wall. He has to get blocked by it. He has a dash, not a jump. So a very, very tough situation for them. It looks like they will be running an Apollo Athena up against a Tyr Ymir, and it seems like Cog is enjoying their kill lanes in the long lane 2v2.
Yeah, this is the second time we've seen them completely forego the range carry, a thing that has been a staple in teams since I think we had 3 and it was available every single time. But, I mean, this is a character we don't see a lot. Ymir has fallen, I guess, kind of victim recently to the fact that the other tanks keep getting buffed and he's kind of getting left behind. And while he did receive a buff, it's very hard for him to initiate properly and still escape, but he can be very tanky. Now, going into this game, if he gets a good freeze off, that can lead to a fearless power cleave combo and then completely shut the lane down by activating the ultimate from Ymir, which can cut off so much space and force Tyr to force his opponent to allow Tyr to put them in an even worse situation. So there's a lot of different combinations they can do, but we're not going to find out until we get in there. The only thing I'm excited about, and it's something that I was doing in the very beginning that I'm so excited to finally see someone doing, is hopefully we're going to see Agni jungle.
It looks like we will see an Agni jungle, a Ra mid, Bakasura solo right lane, and then Apollo, Athena laning up together. Agni has been, like you mentioned, previously untouched. I mean, he's a very powerful jungler, a lot of good clear if you use the Path of Flames, as well as the passive and the Flame Wave throughout the entirety of the jungle. Even putting the Noxious Fumes down without igniting it does give you a little bit of damage over time effect. So, I mean, there's a lot of damage potential for Agni, and his gank is pretty powerful as well, and also guarantees his farm. I mean, it's one of the biggest things about jungle is it does make sure you get lots of farm early on. So we'll see how that works out. It seems like EU is experimenting a lot. We have a lot of strange picks coming out today. Overall, I mean, every single match has been very different, and we'll see how that works out this time around. But we're going to cut to a brief 3-minute timer while we get this game all set up for you guys. So stick around. This is going to be an awesome match to watch. This is game 1 of the grand finals between Cognitive EU and SK Gaming. A very hype match to watch. So we'll be back in just a minute. Don't go too far. Hey! Everyone, and welcome back to Game 1 of the Grand Finals. We're watching Cognitive Gaming EU up against SK Gaming. The picks are already done. They're in the jungle trying to pick up the buffs. Looks like 4 players are here for SK Gaming, tempting to take up this side camp. The blue buff will be attempted by Tyr and Ymir. Looks like we will have a Tyr Ymir lane. Before too much happens, we'll go cover who's playing what and where they're going. We're going to have Cuvo Fred on Hoonbots for Cognitive Gaming, the blue team, the bottom side of your map. They're going to play in the jungle role there. Trix Tank on Ymir with Hand of the Gods, Blink laning up with Game Hunter on Tyr with just a Death's Toll and a Hand of the Gods right now. Looks like he's going to start that out with himself. Lots of, actually 5 health potions, 4 mana potions. They're just going for blood right now. Envuin there on Zhang Kui, and looks like he's going to be doing the solo lane. And of course, the middle lane we have Resterian on Zeus. Opposite map, the red team, we're going to have SK Gaming, Prox QQ in the jungle with Agni as DM. Can Delight for Zalia on Bakasura taking that solo lane. We got Sayo on Ra in the middle lane. Sun Touch on Athena, laning up with Smek on Apollo.
I love it. I think the Agni jungle is so strong, and the ganks are so insane. He has such good clear times. I mean, there's really no detriment to having this character pretty much anywhere. You can play him support. You can play him as a carry. You can play him in mid, solo. You can put him in the jungle. He is the perfect character, and in my opinion, the basis of which all balance should be applied. He is absolutely flawless, and I love seeing new players try this god in different ways, especially in the jungle. But we're going to have to see something else here. It looks like they're just doing some duo stuff for right now. I'm not sure why he's not rotating. He does have a camp up on the right side on the top of the mini-map. But either way, I mean, they're pushing Zhang Kui out, which is a good idea. But Zhang Kui so strong in terms of clear, has great potential in terms of tankiness, considering the fact that his passive makes him almost invincible. And then, of course, his ultimate, which heals him and doubles his protections that he gains from his passive. I mean, there's so many different ways that Zhang Kui just dominates his opponents. But mid-camp should be spawning in a few seconds here. You see both teams recognizing both sides. I just love the way this game's going so far.
It seems like everything's efficient, everything's proper, everything is in its proper place. Minus the picks, of course. We're going to have a Zeus mid, Bakasura solo, Agni jungle. Everything's all hop and go. We see a Tyr on the left side getting jumped on here. There's the Fearless, the blue Fearless, dashing in from Smek. Going to do a few shots here. Ymir will rotate over and be able to throw up a wall just to block that off if necessary. It looks like he's just going to wait for an opportunity to initiate if they decide to push too far, and they won't. So Tyr going to take a lot of harassment here, but do keep in mind that Tyr started with 5 healing potions and 4 mana potions. He's got plenty of sustain to deal with this. Hoonbot's rotating over. He does have a physical pot available. No ultimate on his person right now. No fear, no evil there. He's going to jump over and possibly throw overhand smash, clear out this wave, and force it back towards the tower. Zhang Kui going to jump down the right side by Bakasura, taking a lot of damage. They're dropping quite low, but there's a Zhang Kui ultimate, and Bakasura recognizes the threat and jumps right out. Does not want to deal with that ultimate. Very powerful ultimate to boot. And looks like a pretty even exchange over here in the right side lane between Zhang Kui and Bakasura.
Oh, not anymore. There it goes. Zalia picks up the first blood using that blink cripple combo, especially on a character right there who did not have an opportunity to counter in any way. Baka is CC immune for the first couple hits, so by the time he actually tried to activate that stun, he was picked off. So first blood will go to SK there on that Bakasura play. A character we might see banned out, win or lose next game from Cog because of how strong he is in multiple roles. He's such an ambiguous pickup for first pick, allows him to have their team counter pick in the later later stages of the picking stage. But now it looks like Hunbots might be jumping in here. He's looking for an opportunity. He doesn't have blink. He's either going to have to walk or he's going to have to jump. He looks like he's going to walk it in. The wall comes out. Fear No Evil comes through. Oh, they're not focusing the correct target there. They both turned onto Athena, and the split there due to lack of communication is going to cost Cog a kill as Sayo rotates over. Smek comes back. Fear No Evil is down. A good fearless combo into Power Cleave, but here comes Proxy. He's going to come in as well. The Athena ult preventing the damage. He rains him down on top of Game Hunter, and now all the damage is coming through. Lawbringer's going to come out to get him out safely. A complete wash over all of Suntosh decides to stay out, and it looks like all the members somehow are going to escape that initiation in that 4v4 alive, as once again Jean-Qui and Bakasura just go at it 1v1. Unbelievable play from both teams. A little bit of miscommunication turns out to a complete wash from SK, but great countering from Cog actually stops their team from going down.
That was just proper placement by all the players there on both teams. I mean, it just seemed to split up just perfectly there. Also, I'm at 4, 28, 29, 30, 31. I think you're a little bit ahead of me. 32.
I don't know. Yeah.
I can try to speed up, but I'll speed you up too. So.
No, it's cool. I'll catch up. I'll figure out how to do it. The spectators being wonky today, guys. Sorry about that. It's not letting us sync up properly. And as soon as I figure out how to get this back up, we'll make sure we get back in there. For meantime, Dry Bear.
We got Zeus in the middle lane. They do clear out that right side. Searing Pain comes out for Ra to clear out the medium camps. Hoonbots will go for the damage buff right now. So that ultimate did come out from Ra. Do keep in mind the Searing Pain from Ra has a very short cooldown. It's probably one of the shortest ultimates in the entire game, minus like Hell's, of course. But there's the damage buff going to drop right onto Hoonbots. And his pot's going to end pretty soon here. Should be ending at any moment. We have tier 2 Blink from the Bakasura, and that Blink combination, as Brandon mentioned earlier, as we've seen all day long, is that Blink cripple combination with the slow plus the burst damage is so very powerful, and you can see how much the change to Bakasura, just adding a simple cripple and fixing his ultimate duration. Of course, that was also a bug, didn't last the proper duration every time. So definitely all the changes to Bakasura makes him very powerful, and the amount of damage he can deal out is so surprising. I think a lot of people are really not recognizing Bakasura for the powerful character that he is now. We see Amir and Tyr pushing the left side, forcing back the Athena and Apollo. They're going to kind of back up and wait for this wave to push in, just get some free gold experience instead of trying to exposing themselves to the initiation. And after banning out Sobek and Hercules, it seems like this left lane is not the powerhouse they were expecting it to be for Cognitive Gaming.
Well, I do think there would have been a kill opportunity there, but we saw Tyr and Ymir go onto the Athena while the Hunbots chase down the Apollo, the lack of communication there. But now we have a little bit of trouble. Mesmerize, he's going to come through. Lawbringer is going to come out. I don't know if she's going to have the space to be able to confound there. And now we have a 2v2 engage. Smek could be in a lot of trouble. Fear No Evil back into the ultimate, and it's going to get picked up through the Athena ult, which is going to rain down and do some damage there. But wow, the amount of control. Great positioning of the ultimate. Fear No Evil there from Cubo Fred. Brilliant play. I
gotta watch that again. I think the stream has to as well. That kind of combination was perfect, and the reaction timing from Trickstank was right on point. He reacted so very quickly to that Hoonbot's ultimate, popping his ultimate the second he was available. That was perfect communication. Watch his initiation. The Frost Breath will slow us down to about half speed here. There's the Frost Breath. Hoonbot's ultimate pops his ultimate just in response, and look at the very edge. There's the explosion. Kaboom! And there goes Apollo. But I mean, the combination and the amount of faith that is required and trust in your teammates. He threw the Frost Breath out, responded with the ultimate immediately, knowing that Cubo Fred on Hoonbots would get there just in time to pop the Fear No Evil and force him back into the Ymir ultimate, and that works so well in that favor. That's going to be the first kill for Cognitive Gaming EU, right on top of Apollo, but it's not done yet. Zeus pops his ultimate, strangely enough, gets one detonate there on Sile. Hoonbot's ult comes over here with the overhand smash. There's a slow from the somersault. Frost Breath to come through any moment now. Sile should be dead here. There's a Frost Breath. One hit. No, he's healing up. He's still alive right now. Hoonbot's not there in time. Zeus will lose his life to Bakasura. He's rotating over. Can't jump over this wall, and looks like Hoonbots and Zeus both die. The heal from Ra will keep him alive through against all odds. That was incredible. A 2-0 exchange in the jungle. Not done yet. Bakasura pops his ultimate, and that's a dead Jean-Qui as well.
The early detonate there really forced their hand. They jump in there, they recognize that it's down, and they keep baiting in circles. The somersault just wasn't enough. You see Hunbots getting picked up. I mean, overall, you're really seeing a new SK this week. In the past couple weeks, they've been trying new roles and new strategies, and it finally seems like they're back in their midst here of, just being the great players that they are. And it's kind of thanks to the fact that we have this brand new situation with Suntouch being on support, which is working out beautifully. His reaction times are so strong, and that's one of the things that a support player needs to have is just map awareness and reaction time, and he has both in spades. That's resulted in a lot of missed opportunity for COG because, every single time they try to initiate, Suntouch is there, ready to do something, ready with the Athena ults, the great confounds, and then right there, the play from Ra, the jukes from Sio coming out, just rotating around, healing himself up, and of course, the kind of lucky situation that they were in, given the fact that Detonate was down, they didn't have enough damage to push forward, so now, SK actually is taking their lead back. It was slightly in favor of COG EU, but now SK leads by about 1,400 gold.
Yeah, definitely a big lead for them, and they have a lot of late game potential. Bakasura is going to get stronger and stronger as the game goes on. Agni, of course, has yet to provide as much damage as he possibly could. There's Athena ultimate, strangely enough. Just want to make sure they get in on that. I think they expected more aggression from COG in that situation and just did not receive it. So Athena's going to throw that Guardian of Olympus there, or Defender Olympus across the map and just let that one fly. Looks like they're going to head back over there. Did pick up the Midas boots, but so did Trix Tank on Amir. We'll have that available to them to get a lot of more gold per 5. Keep themselves caught up. Zhang Kui finishing off the Shoes of Focus, as well as Zeus picking up that CDR. We see Proxy QQ on Agni, as well as Sio on Ra doing the exact same thing. In fact, the mirrored builds here on both those players. Rod of Tahuti, first item as we see initiation in the right side lane. There's Bakasura doing so much damage. He needs one more bite. CC Mini wears off, and there's a Humbas jumping on top. The Sacred Monkey blinks over. He has a leap available. Looks like no, he did not have it available. Could not jump on top of Bakasura. And someone who I think a lot of people would expect to be very, very powerful, being the Zhang Kui, an incredible character, just getting demolished by Bakasura, previously a low-tier character, jumping on Trix Tank here, a great wall, prevent the confound, as well as the shield wall, and he'll escape with it with his life. A great engagement, but Bakasura is just unstoppable right now.
Random Power Cleave going to be used to heal himself back up there. Probably going to switch to aggressive. Yes, he does. Power Cleave right there. He's going to be able to start clearing this out. And smartly, he's going to keep his Fearless to move himself backwards as opposed to moving himself forward to ensure that he doesn't get picked up there. Even though they do have the freeze available, right now they don't want to put themselves in a situation that can result in either person having too little CC or too little escape to be dead, especially when you have Trix Tank, a character like Ymir who doesn't really have a great escape. The wall can be, can only do so much, especially when the fact that you can pull him back. So, a great presence of mind right there. But now Game Hunter could be in a little bit of trouble. Don't know if he recognizes the fact that he's about to get jumped on. Blue is going to be mesmerized out there. He still has his Fearless available. Going to dash right through. Suntouch looks like he's going to let this one go as Ymir returns. Right lane, once again, Bakasura so fearless, just jumping into creeps. No problem whatsoever. Sitting level 13 right now as opposed to level 11 Zhang Kui. Might have a chance to make something happen soon. His ultimate is on cooldown for now. Middle tower is getting pushed, but overall, the vision right now on SK on the left side of the map is bonkers.
They have so many words. Initiation yet again. Zhang Kui forces pop his ultimate. Is it going to be enough to kill him alive? That's the question. It's not. The Bakasura ultimate just eats through Zhang Kui with his protections up, with his heals coming out from the spirits. It's not enough to avoid the burst damage from the Feaster Bunny, just beating him down into the dirt. The Athena ultimate will keep Zalia healed up there, actually avoid a lot of damage from the tower in that situation. But at this point, you're playing Zhang Kui. You're Envuin. You really can't even stay under tower range. There's a Frost Blast blink from the Ymir. He's going to pop his ultimate. He's just going to be able to jump out of that. Just kind of forcing him off the tower and clearing the wave, really. He didn't really expect to have anything come from that. But at this point, Zhang Kui can't do anything in this lane. Looks like Game Hunter's going to teleport over here and try a swap.
Drybear, I disagree. Zhang Kui has plenty of options. He could have bought Aegis. He could have bought Beads. He could have bought Blink. He could have bought Fist of the Gods. Something to try to stop this. Granted, there is 3-second immunity, so the Fist of the Gods is not going to be as helpful. But it looks like he's just kind of giving up every time and looking for the same situation. He's banging his head on the same wall, looking for a hole to possibly to the opposite side of Pandora, to Mecca, and he's not going to find it with this strategy. He needs to figure something else out aside from trying to clear this wave one by one, because every single time Baka's just diving the tower and kill him. It is not a safe haven. It is not a place that you can go to ensure that you will stay alive. Baka doesn't care about that. And at the same time, we're seeing Envy and consider it this way every single push, and it's just not going to work out for him. I want to see him go back and buy Blink.
And again, Bakasura bites in there. Zhang Kui taken out immediately and jumped out of the tower. Like you mentioned, that tower is not a safe place to be for Zhang Kui. He is not safe there. And, he decided to go straight for the Breastplate of Valor. That's definitely a good pickup. And I think he should have gone for that first before Boots, knowing that he had a Bakasura plus minions plus physical damage from the tower. I mean, you had the Agni rotation. You want to have CDR to farm up as much as you can. But at that point, I mean, you're really just wasting too much defense opportunity against someone who is just going to scale so quickly. Game Hunter left side lane engage jumped on here. There's the creeping curse. He's going to use Fearless or use his ultimate to jump out. The Lawbringer just to jump out there immediately, avoid that kind of initiation. But again, like you said, he can go for Aegis Ammo, he can go for beads, he can go for combat blink, he can go for something. Initiation here in the middle lane. Syle's going to take one shot, 2 stacks. There's a 3rd stack. Does he have it in time? There's a blink in from the Athena ultimate. The taunt comes out. One more hit will do it. Does he done it? He does it just in time. The Frostbite will finish him off. And looks like Zeus may survive here. 1 hit from Athena, a single hit. And Mir's going to zone this out there. There goes the initiation from the tier. Apollo jumping in, forcing him backwards. The Fearless misses. Not only but the Fist of the Gods will come out. Here comes Bakasura. The true damage is coming out here. Does he have an ultimate? Is he going to pop it? Is the question. The taunt brings him back into the Bakasura. A double kill for Zaylia here. Overhead smash. There's the ultimate from the Hoombots. This is going to be enough. The Sacred Mulligan comes out. The Dash of Flames. The Path comes out. The stun. A triple kill for Zaylia. He wants the Quadra. The Detonate comes out, finishing off the Agni. And a Surrender Vote comes out. And that's going to be it. SK Gaming takes a very convincing victory with an 8-0-1 Bakasura. How Smite has changed.
I mean, as much as I love the way that Zaylia played that, the fault doesn't lie with how good he was. It was the fault lying with Zhang Kui. I mean, first of all, building Breastplate of Valor, of course, going to give him a little bit of physical protection, but Baka is relying on that true damage. It's not going to help you that much. We needed something to circumvent the amount of damage that he could have done as a whole, not just the physical damage. He needed Blink. He needed Aegis. He needed something to stop Baka from running him down, because while he, of course, does have that great stun available to him in close range, first of all, Baka doesn't need to be that close to do damage. He can hit from just outside the range. And then, of course, second of all, he's CC immune. He doesn't even need that. Not to mention he has the Athena ultimate coming down on him almost every time to stop the tower damage. Envian got completely controlled, and I think that was SK's plan from the get-go.
Yeah, they definitely were planning on that. And I think, shutting down the Sobek Hercules lane that Cogd was really relying on. In fact, every time Cog has won their game so convincingly, it was because of the hard victory that they had in the Hercules Sobek lane in the side lane. They shut that down completely. In fact, they wasted 2 bans on it, and they were hoping that they would ban out some of the picks, some respect bans there. We saw Hebo banned out, and then they just respond immediately with an Agni jungle, which ended up being 1-1-4. In fact, Agni really wasn't a player in this match thus far. You look at the damage output, 3,300. He had some good stuns out, but I think the story of this game is going to be that Apollo with lots of structure damage, or actually no structure damage at all, and lots of player damage. But Bakasura at 10,400 player damage, 8-0-1. Zhang Kui ended that match with 0-5-1. A very minimal amount of player damage done himself. And I think overall the rotations were perfect. Like you mentioned in the picking stage, they're going to ban out the Sobek and get Athena right away. So they ended up getting that global presence from that Defender of Olympus, able to jump down whenever they needed it. In fact, there was a lot of times where Bakasura got low, but then the Defender of Olympus reduced the damage he was taking to the point where he just jumped out perfectly fine. And I think that Amir just wasn't as strong of a pickup they possibly could have gone for. I think Bacchus may have been a better pick because Amir really wasn't that much of an influence this time around.
I definitely agree. I mean, I think we saw, despite the fact that he did pretty well, I mean, Ymir's weaknesses really come through there, mainly from his 2, that Glacial Strike just doesn't do enough damage, and when it does, I mean, it's so impossible to hit unless you counter or use it right with the freeze. And I think they really took advantage of the fact that Trixtank didn't have much to offer besides that freeze, and while he did earn himself some kills, I mean, Ymir with kills isn't going to really result in anything in the end game. So we're going to be forced into game 2 here. SK is going to be able to take game 1 in a pretty spectacular fashion, but now the first pick will go back to Cog to see if they choose to take first pick or second pick, but they're going to definitely have some changes to make if they want to make themselves winner of this week's tournament.
They got to pick Baka or ban it. That's really what it comes down to. Zaylia has obviously been practicing that character, and every time we've watched him play that solo lane, regardless of what proxy QQ is jungling with, he has completely dominated. Every single match we've watched SK today, Zaylia on solo Bakasura has been out of control to the point where it is just too much to handle, and they really have to realize, what can they pick out here? If SK Gaming decides to go for the Sobek Hercules ban yet again, they may want to go for just a standard lineup with a Neath Bacchus lane or something something like that, just to round anything off. I think they tried to push the envelope and trying to hold on to their kill lane setup with Tyr Emir, which really didn't work out at all for them. Tyr did nothing that game. Emir rotated around, got a couple good ultimates off, but overall, I think that combination just isn't what the magic that they had with Hercules Sobek, especially with Game Hunter just dominating on Hercules. So we're heading into Game 2, guys, in a few minutes. We're going to cut to a brief break and check in with the players, see if they're ready to go into Game 2, and we'll bring this back on when it's ready to go. So don't go too far. We'll be back in just about a minute or two.